All right, next let's talk about the law of sines. So the law of sines is basically going to, like I said before, help us to find out um, missing sides of a triangle that's not necessarily a right triangle. So it works with right triangles, but it works with any triangle. And then we're going to be able to solve that triangle. So solving the triangle means find everything that's missing, find all the unknown values, all the side lengths and all the angles, all the angle measures of that particular triangle. So um, so with and we'll talk about the law of sines too. This is from the trig sheet that I've been including. We're not going to deal with the law of tangent, so don't worry about that. But we are going to deal with the law of cosine. So these are the two that we'll be studying in this class. But law of sines is the one we're using today. Okay, and notice how it's all about opposites, right? So it's sine of alpha over a, right? So alpha and a are opposites of one another, okay? Then it's sine of beta over b. Those are opposites of one another, right? And sine of gamma over c, and those are opposites, right? So notice how those are across from one another as well, okay? So that's the main thing, is just that you set up those relationships between opposites, okay? If you get that right, then everything else will kind of fall into place. Okay. Now, one other thing about this formula has three parts, but you won't use all three parts. You'll either set these two equal to one another, or these two equal to one another, or these two equal to one another, right? And the letters and the variables may change, right? So it might not be alpha and a. It might be capital A and little a, or it might be, and that's usually the case with the book, is it'll have like angle A, capital A, and then it will have lowercase a for the side. Okay. All right, but just remember that these are opposites. So sine of an angle over the opposite side is equal to sine of any other angle over its opposite side. Okay. All right. So let's see an example. So it says solve each triangle. So we're trying to find everything that's missing is what that means. Okay. So when it says solve a triangle, it means find everything that's missing. Round side lengths to the nearest tenth and angle measures to the nearest degree. All right. So here we go. So I have number 4. I have angle B, angle C, and side B. Right. So that's perfect, because what I can do is I can say, okay, well, sine, and let me put the formula here. So sine, remember ours said alpha, but I'll just put capital A over little a equals sine of capital B over little b. Okay. Now remember, the letters don't have to match up. These are just opposites, right? If you want to put all three, you can put sine of capital C over C. But remember, we're not using all three of those. We don't want two equal signs. We just need one equal sign. Okay. So basically on this one, since I'm talking about B and C, I'm going to use this part of the formula. So I'm going to say sine of 47, right, this angle, over its opposite side, which is 13, okay, equals the sine of some other angle, which we're given 112 here for angle C, over its opposite side, which I don't know, okay? So I'm just going to put a lowercase c in there, right? And by the way, if you want to draw out a triangle, if that helps, let me draw that. I meant to do that earlier. So I have this triangle. Since C is 112, I'm just going to make that the bigger angle here. But your triangle doesn't have to be perfect, so don't even worry if it doesn't look like, if it's an obtuse angle, but you put in it looks like it's acute. Don't worry about the looks. Just make sure the relationships are true in terms of A, B, and C. So, and then little b would be across from big B, so that would be 13. Little c would be right here, and little a would be right here, right? Okay. And so that's our triangle. So what I want to do is I want to find these missing parts, right? Right now I'm about to find C, because that's opposite of 112. And then we'll try to find A after that, okay? So with the law of sines, you have a proportion, right? You have a situation where you can cross multiply, all right? And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to get C times sine of 47 equals 13 times sine of 112. All right, then I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 47. These cancel out, and so we get C is approximately, and then you can just plug this straight in your calculator. Okay, don't forget to, this is the main thing here, don't forget to close these parentheses on your calculator before you divide, or you can put it in a fraction if you want, but if you do it like this, make sure that you close those parentheses first. Okay. All right, so go ahead and plug that in your calculator, see what you get. All right, and I got 16.48, so I'm going to make that 16.5 to the nearest tenth, right, for side lengths. And then we're talking about, yeah, we're not given any units, so we'll just keep it like that. Okay. All right, so now I know C, 16.5, so I got that filled in. So now I need to find A and angle A, right? Side A and angle A. So which of those is easiest to find? Definitely angle A. We could have found that right off the start, right? Without knowing law of sines. We know that the sum of the angles of a triangle are 180, right? So what I can do is I can do 180 minus the sum of these two, right? So, or you can just, you can write out like this, 180 minus 112 minus 47, and one way or the other you get 21 degrees. So angle A is 21 degrees. Don't forget your units on that. So 21 degrees for angle A. Let's see. And you could just put A, capital A equals, you don't have to put angle A. All right, and then, so now that I know this is 21, now I can use law of sines to find side A over here. Sorry, I didn't give you enough room, huh? On these, hopefully you have enough room on your paper. All right, and so now I'm going to set up another one. So now I'm going to say, since I'm trying to find angle A, since I'm trying to find side A, excuse me, I'm going to use angle A. So I'm going to say sine of 21, right? That angle over its opposite side, which is what I don't know, equals, and then I could either use 16.5 and 112, or I can use 13 and 47, right? Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to use 13 and 47 because 13 is exact, whereas 16.5 is approximate. So I'm going to say sine of 47 over 13. Okay, so we used that before, right? Because remember, we can use any opposite angle and side pair to find these. So then I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to get 13 sine 21 equals A sine 47. You could have done that the other way, where you put the A on the left and the 13 on the right. Either way is good. Okay, so then I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 47. These cancel out, so I end up with A equals, and then just plug this in your calculator, and you'll get approximately, right? And you'll get 6.37, which rounds to 6.4. Okay, and then we don't have any units once again. All right, so we got A, we got C, we got angle A, and so we have everything about this triangle that was missing, right? We filled in all the missing parts, and so that's what solving a triangle is. All right, and usually in these cases you have to use law of sines twice, and then usually you'll have to just use the 180 minus the other two once. Okay. All right, now let's see. One thing I want to just point out is just a little number sense. Remember that in a triangle, the largest side is across from the largest angle. So if 112 is the largest angle, then the side across from it should be the largest side, right? And that's true in this case. 16.5 is bigger than 13, bigger than 6.4. And then the same thing with the smallest angle. The smallest angle should be across from the smallest side. And that's true. 6.4 is smaller than the other two sides, 13 and 16.5. So just make sure that's the case. Just especially if you're checking your work, or you're on a quiz or a test and you need to check your work, on the assignment, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But yeah, just kind of keep that in mind, a way to check for, just that you're in the right vicinity. It doesn't 100% confirm that you did it correctly, but it gives you an idea, and it'll definitely point out if you did something wrong, if you don't have that relationship.